Hello everyone and welcome back. This is part 3 from our series about creating a full authentication system. We have in the previous videos, we have created the backend, we have created the 5 endpoints, and in this video I'm going to cover the front end. I will show you how we can implement or how we can connect our app to the API server to authenticate the user, and also how we're gonna test our digital passport, the JWT token that we learned to create in the past videos during the registration and the login for the user. And by the way, in this video, we are going to use React Native. We are going to build the front end in the mobile phone. And the reason I'm doing this is because creating a small UI on the mobile phone is very easy to do compared to creating on the web version. But the logic is going to be the same. The only difference is going to be the UI elements. So like if you're working on the web version, you'll have to use HTML tags like div, span, etc., etc. But in this video, we are going to use the components that come with React Native. So I'm going to begin by creating, I will say npx create expo app latest, and let's call it app auth. And this is going to take a minute. Okay, now our app completed installing. I will say cd app auth, and then I'm going to open the cursor. And also let me run our project. I will say npx expo start. And let me run in the simulator. Okay, I'm gonna hit the I, and now the simulator is open. Okay, now we have a fresh new app. I will begin by creating a simple login component. And also don't worry, I'm not going to waste the whole time in creating UI or playing with the UI. I will create a very simple login component, and then I'm going to copy it to use it as a register and also as the forgot password. So I'm gonna begin in the components. I'll create a new folder. I will call it auth. And then I'm going to create login.tsx. And here I will say RNF. And then let me create these two states first. So we have the two states, one for the email and the other for the password. Let me import the user state, and let me center the content first. Okay, let me actually create a style sheet. Okay, and let me import the style sheet, and I'm gonna replace that. And now we're gonna create two text inputs. I will say text input. Let me, okay, let me put new lines. Okay, now let me create a new style for the input. Okay, and the width, I'm gonna change it to be 300 pixels. And I'm going to remove the button because you cannot add style to the button. I will replace it by new touchable opacitor. Actually, let me use the pressable. And let me import it. And let me create a new style for the button and the button text. Okay, now everything is good. Okay. Let me go to the index in the app, and then in the tabs in the index, I will remove all of that. We're gonna create a new component. I'm gonna call it home, and let's import the login. And I will temporarily put it here just to see the UI and instantiate the Zustand store. And let me refresh. Okay, I'm just going to add some radius. I will just say border radius. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we are going to create a new Zustand store. We're gonna create a new folder. Actually, it's store is not store. And inside it, I'm going to create the auth store.ts. And actually, let me first install the Zustand. npm install Zustand. And by the way, if you're not a user for Zustand, I hope this video is going to give you the motivation to learn it, because for me, it's the best state management library. I have worked with Redux, I have worked with many other libraries, but Zustand is the easiest one, and it will make your development process much fun and easy. So I'm going to import the create function from the Zustand. Let me remove that. And I will say interface. Let me create the TypeScript. Let me remove that. Now I'm going to define the format about how the user data will come from the API. So first is going to be the token, is going to be string, and then we're gonna have the data will contain the ID, name, and email. Okay, and then we are going to create a new property. It's going to be user details. Is going to be initially will be null. Okay, and here we are going to define user details and set user details. That function we're going to use to set the user details, and the user details is going to either be user data or actually null. We can let's define null. So with the user logout, we will set it to null. Otherwise, it's going to give us TypeScript error, and we're going to define it in here. Okay, the first function I'm going to begin with is the login function. Login. Okay, the function is going to take the email and the password, of course. And actually, let's define the API URL. I'm going to the constants. I will create a new, let's call it config.ts, and then I will define export const API URL. Actually, our URL doesn't have API, so just like that. And then actually, let me make the function asynchronous, and let's import the API URL. Okay. Okay, now we send a request to the API, our API URL / login, the API we've created. And actually, let me confirm it in here. Let's send the request. Okay, that is because the server is not running. So I'm going to cd API. I'm going to run our server npm run dev. And let's send again. Invalid password. Let me try 654321. Okay, login successful. Let's try to implement that. So here we send the request, and here we say const. We going to decode the data because the data is coming in a JSON format, and then we say if response is okay, we are going to set the user data or the user details to be data. Otherwise, we are going to let's set an error. Actually, let me define another property. We're gonna say login error is going to be string or null. And here we're gonna say login error is going to be, what is the issue in here? Okay, let's put initial value is going to be null by default. And here we say if the response is okay, we set the data, because that means the server is returning success. And you can further confirm that. You can just say if if data dot message, because I remember we have let me check the login. Okay, I don't remember that we say the response type, but we can actually say your response type is going to be success. We can confirm that. We can say if, or actually, let's keep it that simple. You can go deeper in that, in handling the error and the stages as you want. But that is very good to me. So I'm going to save, and I will try to, let me go back actually to the login. And then I will import the login function and the user. I don't need the user details actually. And the login error. Let me check why we have TypeScript error, because we forgot to define the login. Okay. And now in the login, what we're gonna do is let's create a function. We're gonna say handle login. We don't actually need to add to make it async. Okay. We are going to say onPress is going to send the request. And then let's actually add an error message. We're gonna check if we do have an error. Let's put it up in here. It will be displayed in here. So let me define the error message style. It's going to be red, and actually let's make it bold. Okay. Okay, now let's try our code. And let me just add a more console.log, something in here, just, oops. Oh, I forgot to actually define the error. Let's make the data.message. Okay. Let's refresh. I'm going to add any email, just something. Okay, login. And there is some issue, something happening in here. Let me check. Cannot destructure property email. Okay, that is because I think because we either forgot to provide the, or actually maybe we forgot to add the header. Let me save and let me send again. Let me refresh our app. Okay, let's try something. Okay, now it works. It says invalid email, so I'm going to add our email from the database. It's going to be, let me copy. Okay. Six, five, four, three, two, one. Okay, now it seems to be succeeded. Let me see the console. Okay, the console is showing the data, which means we have logged in successfully. Okay, now the next step is the most important step. Now we are going to save the user details. When the user login, we are going to take a copy of the information, these information, and then we are going to save it on the storage. So when the user come in the next time, when he open the app or open the browser, we are going to create a new function, of course. That function will check if we do have some information that is saved in the storage. That means the user has logged in. So what I'm going to do here, I will say npm install. Actually, I copied the command with the npx. So let me copy again and paste it. Okay, now I'm installing the async storage, and here I'm going to import the async storage. And here when the user login, I will save the user details, and let's call it user details. And we are going to save the whole data, not just the token. And we are going to create a new function. We're going to call it check auth. Is going to be promise, of course. And here we're going to define the function check auth. The function will try to read the user details from the storage. And if the user details exists, we are going to parse or decode the JSON. Let me create a new property. I'm going to call it is logging, or actually login loading is going to be false by default. And now when the function starts, we're going to set this to be true, and then we are going to set it to false after it finish. Let me define the TypeScript. It's going to be Boolean. And then we are going to go into the layout, and here I will import from the store. I will let me import the store first. Import use auth store, and then we're gonna say const check auth, and also we are going to take the login loading, and we are going to call the function in a use effect to run it only once. And here we are going to say if login loading, we can display a activity indicator. This is just the indicator that it's something is happening. And we are going to say else if we are going to say if there is no user details. Let me import the user details. We are going to display the login. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to display the normal view for someone that is logged in. So the first thing we are going to display the loading. And next, if the loading is stopped, we are going to check if there is no loading and there is no user details. That means the function has tried to find the user details and it failed. There is no user details saved in the storage. Then we are going to display the login page. I'm going to save, And now let's go into the index, and I will remove the login, and let me import the user details from, okay, let me import view text from React Native, and then we are going to say hello or welcome, user details, and then data, and then name. Okay, so now we have removed the login from our index. We are just we are displaying it conditionally in the layout, and if the user is logged in, we are going to display the default stack, which will display the default index in here. So let me refresh our app, and let's try again. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now all good. Let me refresh. Okay, now we have logged in, and every time we go into visit the app, our function will check and it will find our information. Now the next step is going to be the register. So I'm going to very fast go into the login, and actually let's define some logout function before we do that. Let me go back into the okay, let's define it in the TypeScript first, logout. And here we're going to define the logout. It will just remove the information from the disk, and then it will set our state into null. And let's go in the home, and let's say principal logout text logout. Okay, and let's import the logout function from the store, and let's click on the logout. Now we are immediately redirected to the login component. Okay, now let's create in the login. I'm going to create a register.tsx, and here let's create an index.tsx, and in the register let's copy the login and paste it in here. And in the register we need email, password, and also we need the username. Let me copy that. Going to be username, set username, and we are going to add one more text input. Okay, this is going to be username, username, and this is going to be set username. Okay, and this is going to be register, and this will be handle register. And let's remove what we have in the handle register. Let's just keep it empty, and we are going to remove that temporarily. Or actually, let's go to the store and let's create a register error. Is going to be null by default, and we're going to define it in the TypeScript. Register error is going to be string or null, and we are going to define the register function. I don't want to overwhelm you, so let's keep this now. We're going to come back for it. Well, let's complete the UI first. So I'm going to import the register error and the register function. Okay, the register function, we forgot to define it in the TypeScript, so let's define register. And okay, if we have a register error, we are going to display it. Okay, now in the index, let me create a dynamic component that will show the register and the login based on a state. So I'm going to define the state in our auth store. Is going to be current page is going to be either login or register, and here it will be by default it will be login. And let me go back into the index. I will create a new function. I will say auth page, or let's just keep auth, and we are going to import login. We're going to import register, and here we are going to say if first let's import the current excuse me, I'm going to say current page, and here we're gonna say if the current page is equal register, return the register. Otherwise, the last thing is to log in by default. Okay, so we will say if the current page is register, we're gonna display the register component. Otherwise, we're gonna display login. And in the next video, of course, when we add more pages or more components like the forgot password, we're going to add it in here. So I'm going to go back into the layout, and instead of importing the login, I will import the auth screen, and here I will display the auth. And now I'm going to the login page. I will say I will add one more button. Okay, let's add this new function, set current page. Okay, let's add it in the TypeScript first, and here we're going to add it. And in the login, we are going to, where is the login? Yes, we are going to import the function. And when the user click on the register, it will turn or flip the view from the login into the register. And also in the register, let's add one more button. It will say back to login. Back to login. And also let's import the set current page. We have an issue here. Okay, oops, back to login. Let's refresh our app. Let me put some margin on the button. Login, okay, button, where is the button? Okay, margin, vertical, 20, or actually 5. And actually let's put some radius. Okay, now we are going to click on the register. Now the page is flipped or changed into the register. And let's do the same in here. I will, in the bottom, I will just say margin vertical and border radius. Okay, let's go back into the auth and let's actually test the back to login. Okay, now register, back to login. Okay, let's go in the register component, and here we are going into the function. Okay, we are going to do the same. We are going to say response. We're going to send the request. We are going to send the username, email, and password. And of course, we are not going to forget the header one more time. And then we are going to process the response. We are going to first decode the JSON, and then we are going to say if the response is okay. We are going to do exactly the same as we did in the register. Because here, some people do like, when the register is complete, they just complete it and then they transfer the user into the login, so they have to log in it again. But it's always much better to just, like, if the user register, just save the information in the async storage, just like how you do in the login, and that's it. So what we're gonna do here is we are going to save the user details again using the async storage. We are going to save it on the device, and otherwise, of course, we are going to display an error. So let's try to Sam adds. Let's actually, I'm in the login. Let me go into register. I'm just going to say, okay, there's some register. Set username, actually, okay, the value was wrong. Okay, sam@sam.com. Oh, this is the username, not the email. So I'm going to say Sam. Okay, 123 register. Okay, there is an issue that is happening. Yeah, I forgot to actually add the action here. Okay. Now we're gonna click on the register. Okay, now we have registered successfully and the app is showing us welcome. So now we have completed the login and the register, and I feel that we already, our video is already very long. So I'm going to do the rest of the video in the second part. What we're gonna do in the second part is we are going to add the receipt and the forgot password, and then I will show you how we can fetch the user notifications from our API by using what we call the digital passport. Thank you very much, and if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much and happy good day.